really appreciate everybody coming here today. We've had a couple different times to thank folks, and it seems like it's never enough because you guys are 24/7 operators like I am as well. But then when we threw that pandemic in the middle of it, it was just incredibly difficult. Want to celebrate our public health team as well. Dr. Moyer is over here reemerging from the private sector after 6 months or so. And so let's hear it for Dr. Sarah Moyer there. Dr. Howard wanted to be here but couldn't be here, so he sends his regrets. And then Bill Altman was going to say a few things as well, but he had a family issue that he had to attend to, and sends he's really sorry that he can't be here. But we've got a pinch hitter for him as well. So many experiences that we've had individually with your own teams and your healthcare systems that we've had together throughout the dastardly virus. I would always try to convince Dr. Moyer that this is like one of the most wonderful things that could happen to her at a relatively early stage in her career, because everything after this will be easy. And she never believed me. Some of the nursing students, Ruth, with Delano, they believed me. You know, they were like, at Louvax, they were very excited to be there. And it's an incredible experience. You know, unfortunately, we lost about 2,500 people here locally. But I'm just so proud of the work we did as a community, everybody coming forward to fight the virus, continue to understand and fight the virus as well. So I just really wanted to get everybody together so we could share a little love and appreciation with each other. And I think, you know, as a community, we've been working to prepare for a difficult period like this. And of course, you know, we had the pandemic, we had the racial justice protests all taking place at the same time. We had a presidential election that was going on that was full of vitriol as well. It was a very challenging time, obviously, for all of us as a city and individually as well. And it's a time like I've never been through. I hope nobody else has been through anything like this, or we ever will go through it again. But if we do, we certainly are going to be in a much better position to get through it and know that we can get through it. I think, you know, I'm going through all kinds of media stuff here at the, you know, reflections on the end of 12 years. And one of them is we showed as a community that we could get through very difficult times. And it might have been tough and some people wanted to crack, but we supported each other. And that type of support is really important. I never thought I would, you know, be saying to team members or some of you all that the objective for today is just to get through the day. You know, normally it's a high, lofty goal of some kind, aspirational. But when we were in the kind of intensity that we shared together, you know, sometimes days are like that. And if you get through the day, usually a better day follows. And I think that's certainly the case. But when you're in the middle of it, boy, it doesn't feel that way, does it? It's less like, man, it's tough. So in retrospect, it's an experience, I think, that strengthened us all and put us in a better position to help more people. And ultimately, I think that's what we're here to do. So it's a blessing in that regard. See, Sarah, I'm always looking for the positive in stuff like this. But certainly it has helped us build our social muscle as a community and build some amazing partnerships for us that were required. And I can say, in talking to other mayors around the country, I don't know of anybody, any other city that really pulled together a task force like we pulled together of, you know, hospitals, of insurance providers, business people, scientists, that Bill Altman, you know, really, and Sarah Beth so capably led. Oh, gosh, that wasn't planned. So anyway, again, thank you to everybody so much for the role that you played in this really history-shaping time in our city. I'm very, very proud of the way we came together, as I mentioned, all the different aspects of who we are to just make us safer. And one of the things that was incredible about us, especially, and then John Klein will help me if I'm wrong on this, but when we were about 6 months into this, in particular, we were starting to see disproportionate impact on our communities of color relative to infections and death from the virus, which was very unusual in the country. Now it seems like in the last couple months, some of the data is coming in where we're seeing that in other places. But the emphasis that we had on health equity was part of our Center for Health Equity out of our public health and wellness shop. But to see that working based on data and then our wastewater detection as well was really, it was just great to see a plan come together in such a logical way amidst all the chaos that we had taken place. And then UPS being located here with its important role in the distribution of the vaccines around the country. Well, we played a really central role in the history of this pandemic. And then, of course, the task force, as I mentioned. So Bill's sorry that he can't be here, but I asked the doctor here. The doctor is in, Dr. Klein, to step up here. And the way that started was I was talking with Lori Lightfoot. She's the mayor of Chicago, and she was saying they had a weekly show called The Doctor Is In. And like most mayors, if you still see something good, you imitate it and you innovate it. The innovation was the inimitable Dr. John Klein. John and I have known each other a long time, from right before we both got married. Our daughters grew up together, and we both have grandkids now as a result of that. And so that was a real natural partnership for us to take place. But what was that, probably for 6 or 9 months? We were on every Saturday.
It's over a year.
Over a year?
It's over a year.
And wow. And many of you all were guests on the show as well. So, John, if you want to share some thoughts on that, please.
Sure. It's 10 minutes warning, by the way, to do this, just so everyone knows. When I think about the task force, I think about discussing it with people around the country and how surprised they were that we had managed to put together such a very diverse group of people from a variety of organizations that frequently compete with one another. And yet they all came to the table, and this was not the way it worked at most cities around the country. This was a uniquely Louisville thing. The fact that we had a wide variety of organizations that all sat there, all cooperated and worked together, when normally they might be trying to compete with one another. And that's very extraordinary in the history of the pandemic. It just didn't happen that much. And if people tried to do it, it didn't work nearly as well as it did here in Louisville. So I think everybody deserves a lot of thanks for that. And when the mayor mentions health equity, what I think is that this is a model going forward. Every healthcare system in the city now has a health equity institute or center or an innovation hub. I would love to see this be a model for that to come together as well at the table, so that when it's time to compete, well, we compete and we go at it hard. But when it's time to cooperate and we can find ways to work together in the area of health equity, I would love to see the COVID task force become the model for other ways to tackle big problems in the city. So I'm going to hope and pray for that, and I'm going to hope and pray that all of us stay healthy over the next years, and hopefully we get to work together again.
Yeah.
Thanks very much.
I want to recognize Connie Mendel here as well. Connie, you played such an important role during all this with leading our public health team as well, so thank you. Dr. Moore, would you share a word or two with us? Come on. When Sarah became the public health director, she said, I'll take it under one condition. I won't do any public speaking. That didn't work out for you, did it?
No, I mean, I felt like I did a really good job the first 5 years until COVID hit. Then I got lots of practice. I gotta get close to the mic because my voice does not project. But yeah, thank you. I mean, very grateful for how we all came together, the city came together during COVID, as Dr. Klein mentioned. I mean, when you take out that competition and we work together and money is not an issue and time and resources aren't, we can see what we can do for equity and for community. And so it gave me hope that we can close all of our gaps with health and equity So excited for that and hope we continue. I am at Humana now, so still in Louisville, but willing to partner as we continue to move forward and other things as well. So thank you, and thank you for coming out today. Feels like a mini reunion. I appreciate that as well.
Thank you. You're a great leader for us. All right, last thing, we're going to hand out proclamations to everybody. But the last challenge I would give is, I was hoping, and we just ran out of gas, frankly, and I think you all did as well, to take that work that we did around the vaccine and keep working together on population health issues. Imagine if we had that same kind of focus and teamwork on really going after some of these just systematic, historical gaps out there. Amazing things could take place. So with the new mayor coming on board, that's my recommendation to him if he really wants to lean into public health. So if y'all would think about that, I certainly will be rooting from the sidelines or in the game with you, but that would be an amazing thing if we could do that. So with that, we've got some proclamations just to thank everybody. Oh, well, how about this? Dr. Sarah Moyer, come on up here.
Who's taking pictures?
Connie Mendel. Dr. Jason Smith. Always ready.
Hey, you know it. Thank you for everything.
David MacArthur. Dr. Bart Irwin. Dr. Ruth Carrico, world famous. Yeah, Delano Manson couldn't make it. Donna is representing Delano, which is hard to do, represent her.
It is.
K&A was so instrumental to everything we did along this, and we just couldn't have done it without you all. Dr. Swanejet, thank you for helping us out.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Melissa Mather. Thank you, Melissa. Chuck Anderson. The doctor is in. John Klein. And a special recognition for a lady that was so instrumental to our success, and that, of course, is Dr. Sarah Beth Hartledge. So many of us were learning on the fly. I was, Dr. Moyer was, and we asked Sarah Beth to lead these efforts, and she was incredible with the way that she blended her medical knowledge with entrepreneurship. Because especially when you think about Louvax and how we stood that up and how that became featured in the New York Times, other publications, people came to study us from around the country. That was really a hard thing to do, but she did it with calm and nerves of steel and was really an inspiration for us. So Todd, we're very appreciative of you to receive this on behalf of your wife, and just know how proud the city is of her and all the efforts that your family put into this. So come on up here, and happy to present, proud to present this to you guys.
It is.